Not as hot as it was, but it's still hot.
No.
All right, Jeff, can you confirm we're live? Or someone? Have we achieved liveness?
I'm working on it.
It says we were live.
Yep, we're live. Good to go.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. All right. Welcome to the Wednesday call. So I think several of you guys were excited. We're going to be hanging out with you guys in a couple of days for the Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego. I think if anyone's interested in meeting up with us or joining us, I think we might have a ticket left. I was kind of holding some tickets for some of my closer friends that have come with us before and they weren't able to come this time. So I think maybe we have one ticket left. Good opportunity to come hang out and, go to one of the biggest digital marketing shows in the world, right?
So now you're going to call the B team, huh? A team didn't show up, so now you're going to call the B team, huh?
There's loyalties everywhere, man. I've got some people that are, been my people for a long time. So
They're committed.
What's that?
They were committed from the early days.
That's right.
Doctor said I was committed.
Well, I can't fault his logic. He's a professional. All right. So hit us up though if you're interested in that. Who has some wins? Who has created wins in the last week? Done something exciting. Patrick Rulin, I'm excited to hang out with you in a couple days, brother.
Yeah, me too, man.
I don't think we met in person, have we?
A lot. Vegas for a short period.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you're more memorable this time. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm looking forward to hanging out with you, man.
I'm excited, man. You're good. Nothing crazy. I raised a couple clients, one from 500 to 1,000 and one from 600 to 1,000 dollars a month. So, yeah, they've both been with me for probably about like 10 months now. Okay. So good relationship. It's gonna go a lot longer. That's always good when you can raise someone, they're there for the long haul.
Yeah, for sure. I think Jeff, you in our agency, you raised we have a towing client. It was actually our first one that we ever built. I think Jeff, you raised the rent on those guys, right? Starting in October.
Yeah, starting in October, we're doubling it, double the rent.
Double the rent. Yeah, that's good.
Oh crap, we're doubling.
Yeah. Cool. Who else?
Hey,
Alex,
Patrick,
what's up, man?
Good. How are you?
Good. How's Canada?
I got not too bad. Yeah, it's fall here, so it's starting to get a little cooler, but it's it's all good.
Yeah.
But I got a bit of a win. I just got I took some inspiration from your model there of pre-selling like a lead gen. I sold a guy I have a drywall site in Kelowna, and I pre-sold him on $1,000, and with the promise of a monthly retainer once we start generating leads. And in the first 3 weeks, we've already got him a couple good commercial jobs and one residential job. So he sent me a text today saying he's really happy and he's getting busier because of my efforts. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to turn him into a retaining client here, a recurring revenue.
I mean, it seems like if he's already closed a few jobs, then it's going to be hard for him to say no. It's just what's the price going to be?
Oh yeah. I got a meeting scheduled with him in a week from now, and we're going to discuss numbers and close them. And now he's also texting me saying he wants to start generating junk removal leads. So I was like, sure, yeah, I'll build you a site and junk removal, and we'll keep rolling.
Cool, man. Yeah, it seems like another opportunity there. If I were in your shoes, I would make sure that I lock him up on the first one and that I'm happy with who he is before I go into junk removal. Just because I think junk removal. I think Patrick Rulin, was that you? Did you have no? Who was that? Oh, that was Devin. That was Devin who had a lot of experience in junk removal, and then eventually he was just like.
He exited the scene, I think.
What's that?
He exited the scene, I think.
Yeah, he did.
No.
So I've just heard bad stuff about that niche, and I think it's going to be lower.
Yeah, I mean it's not a niche that I really want to go into, but if he's asking for it, like why not? You know, like that's what
Yeah.
I figure.
Yeah, I hate to turn down money on the same way, but I would hate to have you put a bunch of effort into it because most of our money is going to come from the ongoing time, not that upfront initial. And then if we invest this time and we give up the opportunity to work on something else, will we someday look back and say, was this the best decision? That's all.
Yeah.
Tread lightly in that area. Are you actually?
Yeah. No, I'm in Calgary, but Kelowna is one of those markets that seems pretty rich for me. Like it's a good like population.
Yeah, I was just there.
In
Kelowna. I was in Kelowna, 2 months ago.
I have a concrete site in Kelowna and a drywall site there, and I'm actually getting into like septic tank stuff there because there's a lot of like acreages in Kelowna. So septic tank kind of stuff seems to be really popular there. So I'm trying to get into that niche too.
Yeah, I think that might be a good one. I think that's going to be, I like that one a lot better than like the junk removal. I think that's going to be expensive and kind of off the beaten path where you're not going to run into a ton of competition, you know, like you would with like HVAC or even junk removal, right? When it's an easy business to start, more people start it. Septic tanks not really start, you know. Cool, man.
Yeah, so I started a septic tank site there. And it's already generated about 3 or 4 leads. So I'm trying to find a good business owner to partner with there. So yeah, things are happening.
That's cool. Yeah, super cool, man. Congrats on all that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Who else has some wins? Okay. We have eliminated. What's up, Jeff?
I guess that's it. I don't see any on Facebook, so.
Well, I've got a win for you guys, and I'll share it with you. If you would bear with me for just a second. Let me share my screen. Some of you guys might have seen this today, and some of you guys might not have. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, you can.
Okay. So
I can.
You're seeing like the coaching library thing, right?
Yep.
Okay, so we put this into the platform this morning. So there are, I think, 200 videos in here now. So if you have a subscription, then you'll have access to this. If you look through this, you'll see that there are 200 different videos in here that are going through. Whoever is a lot of feedback. Is that you, Alex? Sorry, man. I think I'm gonna. There we go. Okay. All right. So you go through here. We've got it kind of divided up by topics, and we're going to be adding more topics in here. We actually have a lot more. Holy cow! My mouse is going so slowly. We actually have a lot more videos that we're going to be adding in here. This is only a portion of what we have kind of like set up, but we've got them divided by all sorts of different things. You can see we've got videos on backlinking or citations. We've got mindset videos, and some of the stuff walks through the system, but most of it in here is really value videos, not really how to use LeadSnap so much, but more about like how to improve your backlinking, right? All the different things we've covered on these videos, plus additional ones are in here now. So anyone with an account is going to have access to this huge library. So here's all one on due diligence, right? This section here is on due diligence. So like I said, there's 200 videos in here. I personally don't know of like another service that exists out there with an SEO library like this. I mean, you could think about like Udemy, where you're buying them individually, or, you know, LinkedIn Learning, but those are not going to really be the same type of SEO stuff. That's going to be more, hey, setting up a Google My Business is important. This is really diving deep into this. So I don't know of any software that's out there where subscription is going to give you access to a huge library like this. So this is how we built our agency. All the stuff that we've done is in here. This isn't the course that we've been talking about, but this will be kind of supplementary to the course. So this is not taking you through like step A is do this, step B is do this. This is more of, hey, how do we rank GMBs? So right. So if I want to, I'm sorry, I'm getting a lot of lag on my. I'm going to stop sharing just for a second because my mouse is running super slow for some reason. Let me try this again. Okay, share screen. Okay, you can see my screen again?
Yep.
All right, there we go. So now my mouse is working again. Okay, cool. All right, so if we go up to our filters up here, and this will probably look better. I'm on a small screen because I'm traveling right now. But if we go up here and we just checked one of these. So for instance, if I check the Google Business Profile, it's going to give me a breakdown of that. So you can see we got 29 videos on the Google Business Profile right here. So I think this is going to be a really valuable asset for you guys that are stuck on something. You can click through, say, go into one of these, and you're going to get the related videos. Looks like we have a little UI work to do on the right side over here. We'll obviously get that fixed, but you'll see all the videos that are related to it. We've got a spot here where you can add feedback. So if you're going through this and this is helpful, we'd love to hear about it. If there's something missing, we'd also like to hear. So we can kind of curate our content and improve it based on the feedback that you guys give to us. So a lot of, I don't know, what do you guys think of this? Does this seem like good value to you guys? Because I think this is going to be awesome. Love to hear it. So if you guys are watching on Facebook, throw it in the chat and let's.
Yeah, Lindsay said she's excited to go through them.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, she said on Facebook.
Super cool. All right. So yeah, we're going to continue to add to this. We're going to continue to build to this. We're going to put a lot of stuff in here that's not in Facebook, right?
Yeah. If you like the call out lines, this is like a massive up level to the call out lines. Before you had to kind of poke through all of that. And this is basically splintering all of that content out into this more visual format where you can go through and really dial in a specific topic anytime you want, anytime you're stuck or you just want more info. So there's like 200 videos in there now. I mean, I probably have another 100 to put in there right now. So it's going to grow, pretty quickly and really big.
Yeah, and I think our plan is also to really add in, like, there's going to be content that exists in here that is not going to be in Facebook, right? Especially as we go to add our course and stuff like that in here. So for the people that are kind of like investing in this and are serious about leveling up their business and they're like, investing in LeadSnap and choosing this, then like obviously we want to make sure that we provide the value to them. So this is part of that value add for you guys, is having this massive coaching library in here with all this different topics. So I've also got some other people that are going to be adding courses in here as well. I've got one that I think is coming on Facebook groups strategy. I've talked to a few other people. I think we're going to have an Instagram course in here. So a lot of different stuff coming in here. It's not just going to be from me and Jeff. We're going to have other people's courses and other video stuff in here as well. Okay, cool. Any questions, comments, or anything on this before we move on?
Seeing some people saying killer value, awesome, excited to go through it, will be helpful.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That is good to hear. I'm glad you guys like it. All right. So today we are going to talk about Google Search Console. Okay. All right. So let me just get this thing going here. Okay. All right. So last week we talked about Google Analytics, right? So we walked you guys through. If you guys didn't watch that video, I recommend it. It will tell you the importance of Google Analytics, and it'll also kind of give you a basic walkthrough on how you can set that up. So we have kind of an extension of that, and we've spent a good amount of time trying to set this up. We had some tech difficulties, so hopefully we will avoid those as we're going through this presentation. But all right, let's get into it. So let's talk about what Google Search Console is. So it's a free tool, again, from Google, similar to Google Analytics. You don't have to pay anything for this. And it's going to kind of measure your search traffic and your site performance. Okay, so just to be clear, let's go over how these two are a little bit different. Okay, so Google Analytics is more about like user-based information. So it's going to provide you data related to the visitors and kind of the engagement that they have on your website, where Search Console is really more about the actual performance of your site, more related to like search and how your website is performing in that. So one is going to analyze the user behavior while on the site, and another one is going to kind of like show your performance from more of a search engine standpoint. Okay, so why and when to use this. All right, so you can set this up. I would set this up. We always set it up at the same time as analytics. It just takes a few minutes to set this up. And there's a lot of things that you can monitor this. So you can see if there's errors. You can see indexing issues. So perhaps you have made, maybe you've made like 30 pages, but only 20 of them are live. And you can kind of see that. And you can see potentially why those are not getting indexed. You can get alerts like security issues. Search Console will give you a heads up on those. You can see your click-through rate. So that's really important. So your click-through rate, let's just talk a little bit about this. Imagine that, we've all driven down the highway and we see like a billboard and we're like, that's boring and I don't pay attention to it. And then other ones were like, oh, that's kind of like sucking me in, right? So when we create our title tags and the meta description on our pages, that's an opportunity for us to help manufacture a better click-through rate. A better click-through rate is going to result in a better ranking, right? So Google pays attention to that. You want to make something that's appealing, and to be able to kind of improve that over time, you need to know what it is. And Google Search Console can provide you that. Also, it's not just about ranking. It's also like, what about like if you improve your click-through rates, let's say that you have 100 people, you got 100 impressions on your site. So someone Googles 100 times a month, your site shows up. If you got a 10% click-through rate, then 10 people are getting to your website. And then if you got like a 10% conversion rate, then one person is going to convert into a lead, right? So what if I improve my conversion rate, my click-through rate, right? So now instead of like 10 people visiting, 20 people are visiting. So now it's like, just by improving my click-through rate, I've got more conversions that are coming through. So all this stuff is related, guys. And, depending on what your background is, and you may not be super familiar with it, but that doesn't mean that it's not important. And it's not hard, and it's free. It's free to set this up. So there's no reason not to get this thing plugged in. You can also see the search terms that have led people to your site, right? Like how did they get there? And you can submit and see Google's understanding of what your sitemap is to make sure it actually maps up with your real, what you think your sitemap is. So why should you use both Google Search Console and Google Analytics? So let's talk about that. So you want to get a picture of your website's performance as well as the engagement that the users are having. By using both of these, you kind of got like a more full-featured overview of your website, right? And you can actually link these together and then they can kind of share some information as well. So we'll talk about that more later. So there are a number of different ways to set this up. So the good news is, for those of you guys who set this up last week, we can make it really easy. So if you're on WordPress, there's a couple plugins that you can use. You can also verify through the same one that we used last week. So if you haven't seen last week's call, go check that out. That's another way to verify this. So this is kind of how it works, is you set up Google Search Console, and then you have to verify that you're actually the owner before you're going to like get access to the data. Like you have to prove to Google that you're actually, and that's what we call verifying your Google Search Console. So there's a number of different ways to do that. So we can use one of these plugins, Rank Math or Yoast. So these are, if you're using WordPress, these are really popular things. They're not just for setting up Google Search Console. They can give you a number of, they can give you like scores and stuff like this inside of WordPress to let you know how optimized your SEO is according to them, which I think it's pretty valuable, some of these. So if you have WordPress, that's a good way to do it. Another way is the domain verification. So just like when we update our DNS, through Google Search Console, we can actually get a text record. They'll give us a little piece of code, and then we can go and create this code on the DNS and say, okay, this is me verifying Search Console. And it takes a little while. Like, I don't think it's going to happen faster than 10 minutes, but like they say, it could take 24 hours. It's never taken like more than an hour, but just be aware that if you choose to do it this way, then there could be a delay, and that's not a reason not to do it. So what we did last week is number 3, when we were setting up Google Analytics, we added a tag to the header. So we went into a WordPress site and we added that tag there. So I'll talk about that just a little bit in a minute. Another way is uploading an HTML file. So they will actually give you an HTML file. So let's do this. Let me bring over this 1 second. Just kind of give you guys a little bit more. Okay.
And while you're doing that, Patrick, can you use the same email for all your sites, just to confirm?
Yeah, I think that's fine. I don't think you have to worry about, coming from this background of we're worried about a connection with our Google My Businesses or Google Business Profiles to each other because of this footprint. I don't have those same concerns with this. We have a lot of our stuff. Actually, I think there's a limit of like 100. So if you have 101 sites, you might need a second email address. Okay, let me resume sharing here. Let's give you, all right. So you can see right here, this is what Google Search Console looks like when it's plugged in. So this is kind of, there's not much data coming in here with this. This is just kind of like on this dummy site that we have here. So you can see some of the stuff we're getting the number of impressions. So an impression is just when the website was actually shown, right? So if the website was shown in a search, that counts as an impression. And this is clicks, right? So we've got 1 click. So that's how they calculate the click-through rate. This is a really high click-through rate. I think that's going to be probably like higher than most of you will see, but it's a very small sample size here. And it'll give you your average position. If you scroll down here, you can see queries. So this is an important part. And I wish we had a little bit better data here, but you'll see the searches that people have used. So, when you guys are doing your keyword research and the things we're trying to rank for, this is kind of the other side of it. It's like people actually came to your site and what queries led them to your site. So this is one of the most important things that we can pay attention to, right? So we can see the pages that they're coming in on, right? And how many clicks and impressions those pages. So this can help us with when we're really trying to identify the way traffic is coming to our sites and how our pages are performing, right? So like most of you guys, the homepage is going to be where most of your traffic comes from. But when you build something out that's doing really well, then having them come in from a bunch of other sites is going to be great, because you should be tailoring your keywords to pages within your site. And then the people that are searching for those terms should be coming through those pages, right? So you're getting a ton of information on that. Okay, so you can go over here and we can see a list of index pages. So we have 5 here. We have 17 that are not indexed on the site. And we can go down here and we can actually see why these are not indexed, right? So this one has a no index tag. So this will tell you if you're having index issues, why these pages are not indexing. So that is super important. You can also look and compare your sitemap to see if your sitemap is, the sitemap that Google has is lining up with the sitemap that you think they should have. And you could submit it through here, right? I could put in a new URL and I could submit my sitemap. So that could help me with indexing issues, right? If I had pages that were indexed, for those of you guys that are doing WordPress, right? Maybe you have pages that came with the theme and you don't want those indexed because there's no value there, right? So this is a way that you can go through and you can remove those. You've got mobile usability stuff in here too. So really, really valuable information. We'll be building an integration with Search Console so that we can have all this data inside of LeadSnap, right? I think it's going to be really valuable to get this in here. We've got the Google Analytics. We talked about all the value of that. This kind of goes hand in hand. Our plan was to do a 1-2 punch with this and Google Analytics. We did the Google Analytics, and then I had to pull some developers off to focus on other things, but really, really good stuff to get this in here. Once you have it, oops, that's not what I wanted. Sorry. Let me go back over here real quick and I'll show you how we can link these. So if I go into, this is back in Google Analytics. So if I want to create kind of a bridge between these two, I can go over here. I think this is where it was. Yeah. Oh yeah, down here. This is where it is. So if you go in here to admin and then you scroll down, and then I can go in here to Search Console links and I can add my property. So that's going to create a connection between these two, right? So I can choose the accounts that I want to connect. This is the site that we had last week, right? The contractor demo, and I can connect this and they can kind of share information across there, which is really good. As far as like adding in, so if we go to, if you go to search, this is the one we want right here. So if we go to search.google.com/search console, then that will take us here to this search console. So you can kind of see it's taking me right in. Okay, so I could come through here and I could add a new property. So I want to add in my property. This is where I could put in my domain. So if I were going to go, if we were looking at kind of our thing here, the different ways. So this would be the domain verification way, right? So if I were to come back in here and I wanted to do domain verification, I could do it this way. I could put in, if I want to do a URL, which, so this is the one where we're going to add in the DNS records, right? We're going to go to our registrar, or if you guys are using Cloudflare, then you're going to go and you're going to make the record there. So that's where that's happening. But if we are going to do it this way, right, where we're going to add in our site, is that what it is? Why does that seem so strange to me right now? Yeah, that's right. Okay, so we'll go to like demo contractor site, right? So I can add this in here, .com, and then I can scroll down and click on continue. And it's going to, I'd already verified this, but if you didn't, there was going to be like a few steps that you can kind of go through and answer those. So this, another way, if you've already, like if you're using WordPress, another way you can do this is we had this last week where we had our code snippets in here, and I can actually, you know what I did is I accidentally verified this right before our call. So now I'm struggling to get that code again, but you get that code on that next step if I hadn't verified it, and you can come in here and you can paste it right inside here. So it's really self-explanatory, that second step. And when I put a video into the coaching library, I'll be sure and walk it through step by step, but it's very similar to the last one. You're just going to get that code, you're going to put it in here, and then you go back inside of Google Search Console, and you'll have the ability to say verify, like you just saw where we were, right? Where I was adding this property. I would go in, add this property. I'm entering this in on the next step. It's going to ask me to verify, and then it will say verified, and it will take a little while before stuff starts to come in. Okay, so that is just an overview of kind of like the importance of Google Search Console and how we can get started with it. Just want to go back here real quick. Let's look at our little spreadsheet here. So we've got the add a tag in here. If you're using if you're using like cPanel or you know, Plesk, if you're on WebHost Python, then you can also upload a file. So they'll give you on that next step, they'll give you the option to download the file. Using Google Tag Manager, you can take this same tag here and just put it inside of Tag Manager. Okay, so there, as I mentioned, there's a couple plugins that we can use. We can use Rank Math, and Rank Math will give you the option, or Yoast inside this area right here, this Webmaster Tools. They have that tab in there, and you can just paste in those codes and say, hey, verify that I am real, and then it does. So you can kind of see here it is in Rank Math. Same kind of setup. Tabs on the side on this one. Okay, cool. So for people that are using Weebly, you can take this tag and you can copy your HTML tag, go into your Weebly site, the footer and header. So you're just going to add the HTML code into the header of the site and save, and then you go back and you verify it on Google Search Console. So it's a really similar process. And there's going to be tons of stuff. If you just Googled like how to add your add it in for Weebly, then that would get you there pretty quickly. So the manual setup, we'll sign in. I've got the screenshots here because I wasn't able to, because of that verification thing we're talking about. So you're going to go here, and then your next step is you're going to go here, and you're going to choose. So this is where we are on these last steps, right? So if we're going to go with the domain, then we can edit our DNS records, and it's going to look something like this, right? So you can see this right here. This is what we're going to copy. So that is the DNS record that you'll take over to a site like Namecheap. So in our example, we're on Namecheap. This is what I prefer for domain registration. I really like Namecheap. You get you essentially get free privacy on all your domains, where the other people charge like $9 a year. So you would just go up to the advanced DNS records. So you go to your domain list and then the advanced DNS records. See if I can zoom in. Yeah, advanced DNS records. And then if you kind of go up here to manage. Oh no, hang on. Sorry, guys. All right, there we go. Okay. I know I'm going fast. Does anyone, Jeff, do I have any questions out there?
Just on the API, do you have a timeline for that?
Oh, for the integration here?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that we can get that in Q4. It's not a big build out for us. And it's just finding a little bit of developer time. We've got a lot of experienced developers working with Google's APIs now, as you guys probably know. So yeah, I would think we're going to get that live in the next 2 to 3 months there. Okay, cool. So after this is the verification step that I was struggling to show you. So you come back here, if you scroll down, there's a little button down here that says verify, right? So once you do that, it will, man, zoom out. Okay. You'll get this message that we saw. Ownership is verified. So once you have this, your data is going to start to flow in. It may take a little while because, you know, people have to actually visit and like search has to happen. But, you know, I would say you check back in the next couple of days and you should have some traffic coming in here. This is the URL method. So this might be a little bit easier if you're not comfortable poking around with the DNS records. So, or if you don't have access to it, you're basically going to put in your put in your information there, and then you can. So you're going to say like, hey, this is the website. So if you don't have access to the DNS, maybe like here's a classic example. You have a client and you're managing their site. So you're doing like SEO for them. So you don't have access maybe to their DNS. They weren't comfortable giving you access to that. But you do have access to their website where you can actually upload an HTML file. So you could choose this URL method, put in their website address, and then you go and you upload a file, and it proves to Google that you have control over managing this site because now you've uploaded this file, right? So you can see in this step, they're just going to give you a little download option here. So if we zoom in, there's a little file that you can download. You're just going to take this file, you're going to upload it onto the server for them, right? So if you're using Plesk, you're going to do it through here over on subscriptions. If you're using cPanel, you can come over here and do it, right? I guess this still looks like Plesk here. So you go into Plesk, you're going to click up here on files, and then you'll choose the HTTP docs folder. I'll just zoom in so you guys can see that. And then you can choose upload file and select that file off your computer. And then again, you're going back over here to verify this. So you can see right here, it could take 24 hours. So this is the other method with the tags, which we kind of just talked about. I kind of demoed this for you. You're going to copy that tag. You can paste it into the headers and footers. So this is exactly like last week, right? We're going to put it just below. There's the Google Analytics script that we pasted in last week. So we're going to install that WP code plugin, and then we're going to choose the header and footer option right there, right? And then we're going to paste this in there. So a lot of different ways to get this in here. You guys don't need it. If you don't, you can just pick one. Tag Manager. I'm not going to dive too deep into this. Tag Manager can get a little complicated with how to do things, but if you're using that and you're familiar with it, this is a pretty easy way. And you probably, if you're using this, you probably don't even need the instructions on how to do this. So it's pretty easy to verify. It would be like, maybe at some point I will give you guys a little overview of Tag Manager. You can essentially install one little piece of code on Tag Manager from Tag Manager on your site, and then you can install things on Tag Manager without ever having to go back to your site, and it will like bring in all that information. So it is really powerful and valuable, but it can get confusing. And if we're just doing basic stuff, it might be overkill. Okay, cool. So this is the presentation for today on Google Search Console. I would highly recommend, if you guys don't have Search Console, you don't have analytics set up, get both of them set up. Use this video. You can replay this. You can Google around a little bit there's just so many different ways. There's like we said, there's 5 different ways to set this up. I didn't want to have to go through each one of those ways and all those different steps. And then each time I verify it, it's like, I need a whole new domain. I need a whole new like email address. So it's easier to just to show you the slides on this one, but it's super simple to set up. And once you've done it once, it's going to be the same exact setup for all your sites. Okay, cool. So any questions on that? Looks like Greg Adams was able to verify it as we talked. So it sounds like
Action. Fast action.
fast action, Greg Adams. Cool. Yeah. So Greg, you should start to get some data plugging in there in the next few days, right? And that's what you want to monitor. So as like you guys, if we're just like building backlinks and building pages and we're not paying attention to the results other than leads, we're missing out on some valuable information. And we don't really know how to adjust and steer the ship. What queries are driving the leads for your site? Are they the right ones? Because maybe you're ranking for something. Imagine like you've got an HVAC site and you're ranking for how air conditioners work, and you're getting a ton of traffic on your site and no one's converting, right? Because you're ranking for the wrong thing. So just tweaking this stuff and building out your content so that you can rank for the right things. This stuff is super valuable, right? Okay, cool. So that's all I have on this. What's the advantage of Chadwick? I see your message. What's the advantage of linking the two? They exchange some data. To be honest, my managers are managing a lot of this stuff, and they're managing these processes. I can't remember all the benefits of that, but I think that they play well together, and you can bring in some of the search data from Google Search Console into analytics and kind of have that in one dashboard, but eventually you'll have them both in LeadSnap, right? Sorry, I don't have a better answer for you on that one, Chadwick. I'm not going to make up bullshit. Okay, cool. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any other questions on this, you have other questions, you've got me for another 20 minutes maximum. We've got plans as we are traveling. Is there anybody that is stuck on anything?
How about next week? Are we going to do a call next week, Patrick? We might as
No
well.
call next week.
No call next week. All right.
Nope. We're going to be hanging out with the LeadSnap super fans and all the amazing digital marketers at the conference.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
So I've got a question here, jumping back into the software.
Sure.
As far as using the heat map to narrow down a niche, and I was watching the July one on that. Quick suggestions before going, and analyzing a bunch of sites. If you start with the heat map in the diligence.
I would absolutely. Let's just put some eyes on it real quick. I'll share my screen and I would absolutely start with the heat map as far as due diligence, because what you're trying to do, Randy, is you want to know who is the top dog. If we want to be the top dog, then we have to beat the current top dog.
Right.
And if we don't know who that is, then how do we know how high the bar is set?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if there's a niche that I'm thinking about going into, here's what I would do is I would go to, do you have an example one?
Yeah, I was going to look at chimney repair, probably in the Northeast, Maine and that type of stuff.
Okay. So I know there's a city in Maine called Bay Harbor, right? Okay. So you can see that these are the companies that are, it's Bar Harbor. That's what it is.
Okay.
Bar Harbor, Maine. So these are the sites that are coming up. And if we think about this from, I'm going to just do something here. Imagine that this was a heat map, right?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the whole city of Bar Harbor over here. And I've done this. I've done my search and I said chimney repair, Bar Harbor, Maine.
Uh-huh.
These results right here are only 1 point on the grid, right? Maybe it's what's ranking up here.
Right.
We don't know what the rest of this grid looks like. This is just what is the random spot that Google chose to bring us back results from this.
Mm-hmm.
So what we need the heat map for is we need the heat map to tell us like who's ranking best across the whole, not at this one like little tiny spot that they chose, right? So I need a way into the heat map when I'm doing my due diligence. And what I mean by that is I want to, hold on one second. I'm going to go to google.com/maps and I'm going to do a search for this company here, this Hancock. I know my screen's not being shared right now. Just give me 1 second. I will be right back with it. Okay. Pasting. There we go. Okay. All right. So you can see I've done a search for Hancock chimney sweep and service, and then I'm going to click on search here, and all right, let's do it this way. I'll do chimney repair Bar Harbor, Maine. See what comes back. We've got to have a starting spot to get in there, right? There's this company here. This is who I was looking for, Hancock. So if I go in here and I click on these guys and I get this share link, so this is going to give me a way into the heat map. I don't really necessarily care how they're ranking, but what I want to know is like, who is in this market? I need one person in the market so that I can like run the heat map, right?
Yeah.
So now I come over here and I'll go inside and I'll do my search on map URL with this chimney repair. I always do like my default is the 1 mile with the 13 by 13. And then sometimes depending on it, I will kind of change it around a little bit. Where is my heat map? What's happening here? Huh. Well, that's new. I'm not sure why I'm not seeing my grid. Okay, we'll pretend that we've already run one for this, like we'll say this company, this Ace Roofing. Same philosophy here. You would just be applying. I'm not sure what's going on with that, not showing the grid for me there. But basically what you're going to want to do, Randy, is you want to find out who the top person in town is. And then that's where our due diligence is going to start, right? So I've run my search. I got my company to get in, and I can see now by the averages. So we're sorting by the best average score. So the best company for this search term is this Big Texas Roofing and Solar, right? So they're first. They have an average of 10.86. So they have the smallest average, right? If we were to add all these up and divide by the number of points, their average score is 10.86. These guys are 11.82. So when I go to do my due diligence, I can just click on these guys. And now I know that I'm like, this is who set the bar at the top, right? This Big Texas Roofing. They're the best for this search term. And maybe what I want to do is I want to get a collection of search terms and, look at those and find out if Big Texas is showing up first for a number of, then I can say like with confidence that they're the best in town. And one of the first things I'm going to look at is 77 reviews. Can I find a niche where like on the Hancock chimney, they had 160 reviews or something, right? So can I find a niche where the person who's crushing it, who's first in the maps, doesn't have a lot of reviews? They're first, but the bar hasn't been set high by them. So if I'm going to beat these guys, and I've got like a list of like 10 or 15 things I really want to beat them in, one of them is going to be reviews, and they've got 77. So if I'm going to beat them, I need 78. But if they had 6, then I would only need 7 reviews. So this is like pulling me, reviews aren't everything, but this is pulling me away from this a little bit where I see this many reviews. I'm going to click on this picture. Look at that, 252 photos. Okay, so I'm going to beat them in photos. So now I need 253 photos to be able to beat these guys, right? So that's not exciting for me either, right? They have 252. Obviously, the website's going to play a part in it. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to actually look at their site and see, like, what does their content look like? What does their backlinks look like? Notice that they're going to the Contact Us page, which that's, unless this is like a secondary GMB, then they should probably be going to their homepage. So it looks like their website is kind of, I don't know, it's a little strange looking. And I'm going to look, when I go onto this, I'm going to look at their content. How much content do they have? Right? You can actually copy this content and put it into like a word counter and see, but they don't have a lot of content. And I've talked about this, this tool a number of times, this Majestic tool. right? Where you can get information on their backlinks through this tool. So if I were to go, I'm just going to turn this on real quick. I'll show you guys what it looks like. Give me 1 second. Did I somehow uninstall this? Oh, there it is. It's hiding. Okay, cool. So this tool, Majestic backlink tool, is free. You don't need a Majestic account to do it. It's this one here, this like star, Majestic backlink analyzer. So if you were to do a search for like Majestic Chrome extension, you'll find this thing right here, right? And you can install this for free. Let's go back to, oops, did I lose my page? Big Texas, where are you? Oh, these guys right here. Okay, so it's probably going to make me do, because I didn't have this thing turned on, it's going to ask me to prove I'm not a robot, and I can just click on this and authenticate for free, and then take my chances with being able to beat the CAPTCHA. Hold on. It launched it over on this other page. Okay, so it's going to pop up this little window. Okay, I don't know what happened there. It usually makes me do CAPTCHA, but you can see their trust flow is 13 and their citation flow is 31. So the trust flow is essentially analyzing the quality of the backlinks, and the citation flow is analyzing the quantity of the backlinks. So if these have a 1-to-1 ratio, then that means that almost all their links are going to be strong, because they're only like citation flow is going to move up because a backlink is added, and trust flow is going to move up because it was a good backlink, right? So this is like, this isn't super tough, like 1331. Right? That's not like a big thing to overcome, but it's like, I think you'll find a lot of local sites that will be under 7, like for trust flow. So I think that from just like quickly from a quick glance at looking at their site and their metrics, they don't have a ton of content on their homepage. They don't have a ton of strong backlinks. They do have some strong GMB stuff. When we did our due diligence to find out how they were ranking, we were looking at their GMB, so it makes sense that they're doing better for GMB stuff. You can see that they have somewhere around 91 pages. This is called a site command. So I did a site command, and we can look from here. I'll go through and look and see what they're trying to optimize on by looking at these to see how optimal are they. So they've got roofing and solar tile installation. They're mentioning the city a few times, right? So if these are not optimized well, they're like, these are not awful, then that would be another opportunity for me to like beat them. And I could also kind of pay attention to how many pages they have to see, okay, if I'm going to beat them in everything and they've got 91 pages, then I need 92 pages. So I pay attention to that stuff when I'm deciding to go into it. I also will look at their domain and their GMB name, right? So do they have the words that I want to rank for as a part of their name? So like, not really for this case. Like if I was in this niche, big Texas roofing and solar, like maybe roofing is one of the words, but I would probably have like a more dialed in keyword. Randy, does that give you insight on how to kind of evaluate this and how the heat map is the starting spot for that?
Yep, that's what I needed to know. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. All right. So we have a few more minutes here. If anyone has any final questions.
There's some deep dives on that process too, Randy. If you look in the outlines in the due diligence section, there's some really detailed walkthroughs of that process. Or in the coaching library.
Coaching library. Yes, the coaching library has a lot of that stuff in there. So if you go in here, Randy, I think you're asking about the heat map. So I'm pretty sure you must have a subscription, right? So if I were to go in here into the due diligence, you'll see right here, right? We've got in-depth. So there's 24 minutes going over a lot of this.
That's not showing, Patrick. Oh, there it goes.
Oh,
yeah, it took a minute to get there.
Okay. Yeah. And then like, here's another one that's 21 minutes. That's really going over a lot of this right here, how to strategize with the heat map the right way. Right. I think this is going to be a really valuable, really valuable resource for you right now to go through some of these due diligence videos. Cause this is like, basically we've taken our process and these videos are just like going over it step by step. Cool. All right.
Shai has a question about spam. I'm not sure if they're going to unmute.
I'm sorry, I'm not Shy. This is Ala. My
Oh,
kid was on my phone.
Oh, okay, well,
how are you?
how will they know? Go ahead.
Oh,
I'm
like, you
sorry,
hear me?
I'm lagging so much. Hold on, let me just. No, nothing. You logged in. So can I ask you? One of my calls, one of my phone numbers is getting a ton of spam, and none of the other ones are getting it. So it's just really weird that it's just one of them.
Let's do this. I'll send over a message to support. I think so I learned last week that there is actually like some additional settings that we can do on our end to like register numbers to prevent spam. So we're going to be doing this in bulk to people's numbers to make sure that they get removed from like the back end to help reduce spam. So I just found out about this. I haven't had a chance to implement it, but let's run a test. If you send support a message and let them know, and you can let them know that I said that, like, hey, there's some settings that we can change to fix this. I think that should really help with this issue.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other questions, Ala?
No, not really. Just looking forward to the API
For the Search Console?
for
Or
LeadSnap.
My business stuff, right?
Yeah, for the GMB.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, we're actually really close with that one. I think it's actually waiting on me to approve it. But yeah, if you guys didn't hear that announcement a couple of weeks ago, essentially we're going to allow you guys to use our internal APIs that we have. And then we're just going to be monitoring accounts to look for suspicious activity on the GMBs and kicking people off. But that will mean that you won't have to jump through these hoops to get API approval to be able to use the Google My Business module. Because I know how, we've been on the front lines. It's taking a lot of my support resources trying to have people go back and forth with Google 100 times. It's kind of like trying to get a GMB live, right? It's just like Google gives you, they're non-responsive, they're super vague. So I think this will make it a lot easier for people where they don't have to jump through those hoops. So I'm really excited to get that one out there too. Cool, guys. Well, if you guys don't have any final questions, I've got a bunch of plans for the evening here. I'm traveling, so appreciate you guys. I hope you guys got value from this Google Search Console stuff and the coaching library that we have in there. I think that's going to really help you guys level up with some of the stuff that you're struggling on. So if you guys enjoyed this, if you're excited about the coaching library, let us know, let my team know. We did a lot of work to get that out there. So inside the Facebook group, just comment and tag it. So you guys have 2 weeks this time, because we don't have a call next week since we'll be at the event. That means you have 2 weeks to create wins. So we should have some huge wins, but you guys have to take the action. Jeff, you got your finger up. What's up?
Accountability groups. The next group will be coming up Q4, right? As soon as we get back from TNC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so you guys, within the library there, there's a lot of information on the accountability groups. So it's going to be the same process. I've seen it time and time again. If you guys are on the fence about this, man, it's just like some of these groups that really connect inside the accountability group. It's like every single person in there is like closing deals in the same group, where like previous they didn't. So if you're on the fence about it, it may be something to jump in. There's no cost for it. It's just going to cost you your time and the effort to support the other people in the group. It's also a great way to kind of build some relationships within the group with with some other people. So, all right, you guys have an awesome 2 weeks, and yeah, create some wins, and we will see you. I guess we're going to see you guys in October. So
October 5th.
all right. Have a great 2 weeks, guys. Take care, friends.